Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another video on the Found Scarab YouTube channel. Today I'm going above and beyond everything that I've done before, and I am ranking not just the protagonists, not just the villains, but every single character from the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now I'm sure there's going to be some people that come in and are like, you forgot this random NPC that no one's ever heard of. Fight me. We're doing every character in the Assassin's Creed franchise. These are the characters that I care about enough to include, so deal with it.
And I thank you.
Before we get into it, it would really be appreciated if you could hit like, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe with post notifications turned on. Also, it would really help me out if you could check out the Patreon in the link in my description. With that being said, let's get into the ranking. And first and foremost, we start off with Abbas. Now, Abbas is a very interesting character. In Assassin's Creed 1, he's kind of forgettable. He shows up in one or two cutscenes. He is an opposition to Altair, but the motivations behind his opposition aren't quite as fleshed out as they are in Revelations. However, in Revelations, he becomes essentially the main antagonist to Altair, as we find out the deep backstory of Abbas blaming Altair for the death of his father, this assassin in denial that his father would commit suicide. He becomes a very interesting character, and his conflict with Altair feels direct and purposeful, and for that reason he's going in great. Then we have Adewale, who I'm not gonna lie, I think is a little bit overrated. Now hold on, I'm not saying he's bad. Overrated doesn't mean bad, but Adewale is a very important character in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. He encourages Edward to join the Assassins, and he has a pretty solid DLC attached to his name. However, his motivations are very one-dimensional, and although that one dimension is very important, it kind of leaves him falling flat quite a lot. He doesn't actually do a lot of things in Assassin's Creed Black Flag that I feel justifies him being placed in the great category, but he is a fan favourite for a reason. He's definitely memorable. I'm not gonna lie, a similar thing goes with Atabai, the leader of the colonial brotherhood in the West Indies. He is an interesting character in his design and his general concept, but in practice he kind of serves as more of a encouragement for Edward to join the Assassins, as opposed to a fully fleshed out character in itself, so he's going in memorable as well. And funnily enough, Prince Ahmet kind of falls along the same lines. A character who's conceptually good and understandable, but isn't quite fleshed out well enough to be put in great. Prince Ahmet has very understandable motivations. His insecurities with his place in his family and his bloodline are very interesting. However, his motivations don't really connect with Ezio's very well. To have a great antagonist, you need the antagonist's motivations and goals to directly contradict those of our heroes. And I would say that Ezio and Ahmet's pathways in Revelations are kind of separate until the very end of the game. So again, memorable but not great. Achilles, on the other hand, I believe is a fantastic character. He is one of my favourite parts of Assassin's Creed 3, as he brings a level of nuance to the game that is rarely seen in a lot of the writing nowadays. But it's all written with an element of nuance that makes him a genuinely enjoyable character to be around. At no point are you watching Achilles do what he does or say what he says and thinking, man, this guy's a real downer. It's always entertaining, it's always enjoyable, even if it is jaded and, you know, from the perspective of someone who had his leg shot by Hatham. So, Achilles is great. Now, this person right here is there. Next up we have Al-Mualim, and I mean, come on. The first antagonist we ever saw in the series. He has some of the best dialogue in any game ever. His conflict with Altair is perfect, his betrayal of the Brotherhood is perfect, his grasp for power, his manipulation of the Third Crusade, or whichever crusade it was, it's flawless. Al-Mualim is beautiful. Everything an Assassin's Creed villain should be. Next up, Alfred. Now, Alfred is an interesting character, and I think I need to replay Valhalla, because I don't know if Alfred was actually a good character or I was just really enjoying my first playthrough of that game. However, I think he acted as a very interesting proposition as a villain. You know, you kind of assume Alfred to be the main antagonist of Assassin's Creed Valhalla throughout, and then as the game goes on, Eivor kind of allies with him for a little bit, and by the end we see him being responsible for the teardown of the Order of the Ancients in England, which would seemingly be a good thing if it weren't for him just going to create the Templars in France. Yeah, Alfred's a very interesting character, and I think the cutscenes that include him happen to be some of the best cutscenes in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So, is he great? Probably not. He's probably up there with Amet. Now, I don't think I need to say anything about this. Altair ibn Lahad is just magnificent. Whether it's Assassin's Creed 1 or Revelations, the dialogue, the aura, the essence, everything, it's beautiful. Anne Bonny. Now, Anne Bonny is a character that doesn't really get to shine in Assassin's Creed Black Flag until closer to the end of the game. However, when she does, she is a beautiful character. She is responsible for one of the most iconic scenes in the entire franchise. Her conversations with Edward are very interesting and emotionally charged. However, I wouldn't say she's vastly important in the same way that someone like Mary Read is. I would probably put Anne Bonny in memorable as well. I think, yeah, she serves a great purpose and her moments are fantastic, but Now this is where I need to try and put my bias aside, because I absolutely adore Antonio from Assassin's Creed 2, and he has one good little monologue about the nobility and the kind of faux nobility of people in Renaissance Italy. However, Antonio is kind of just mid. He's an ally of Ezio. He has some funny moments, he has some good moments, but he doesn't really serve the story in any hugely meaningful way. He is memorable enough to like the average fan, but I don't know if he's memorable to like the average player of an Assassin's Creed game. I'd probably put him mid. Next up we have Arnaud Dorian, one of the more underwhelming protagonists in the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I only say that because his character arc isn't properly effectively written. Arnaud had the potential to be a fantastic character, and he shows that potential in the Dead Kings DLC, where he's absolutely legendary. However, in the main game, his transition from like cool Ezio style party boy to, you know, solemn assassin in mourning, it's not executed very well. I think Arnaud had real potential to be in the Legends category. I don't think he's mid. I don't know if he's quite great. No, if we're taking into account Dead Kings, I would say Arnaud's great, actually. I would say Arnaud is great. He's legendary in Dead Kings. He's kind of memorable to mid in the main game, so he's getting great there. Odyssey. Oh my god, it's Lawrence. Is that his name? Lawrence from the Homestead missions. Lawrence and his wife. Lawrence's wife. Yeah, of course I remember these characters. Because I've played Assassin's Creed 3 12 times. However, would anyone who's played the game once even know this person's name? Probably not. Aveline de Grand Prix is also terrible. Aveline de Grand Prix is not a good character, and Liberation is not a good game, and I will fight anyone who has anything to say against that. See, this one breaks my heart, because Aya should have been one of the best characters we've ever seen in this series. Originally being written as the protagonist of Assassin's Creed Origins by Darby McDevitt, obviously he stepped off the project and Aya became a forgotten relic of what could have been a well-written story. What Aya, or Amunet, ends up actually doing in Assassin's Creed Origins comes out to be pretty... It's memorable enough, it's well performed, it's important to the canon of the series, so I will put Aya in great, but based on what she could have been, I think she could have been genuinely up there as one of the top 3 characters in this series, no doubt. And yeah, no, just not great. Black Bart, Bartholomew Roberts, a fantastic antagonist. The first sage we see in the series, this manipulative, not quite a Templar, not quite an assassin, somewhere in between, playing both sides for his own gain. It's excellent, and it embraces the pirate philosophy very well within the context of the story of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Yeah, Black Bart's ace. Black Bart is I feel like I'm putting too many people in great, but Black Bart's great. Again, I'm trying to limit my bias towards the Ezio games. However, Bartolomeo is a lot better than Antonio. Bartolomeo has these fantastic, funny cutscenes back and forth with Ezio in Assassin's Creed 2, and then in Brotherhood he becomes one of Ezio's main allies in taking down Rome. Yeah, Bartolomeo is very memorable. Now we have Basim ibn Ashak, and before Mirage came out, I probably would have put Basim in the memorable category because although he's not the most important, well, he is actually probably the most important. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, before Mirage even came out, I probably would have put Basim in the great category. Every single cutscene with him in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, every single moment is fantastic. All of the best parts of Valhalla include Basim. And then Mirage just adds more to that character and makes him more interesting. Now, that being said, I think Mirage could have done a lot more with his character, but I don't think it's done poorly. Yeah, I think Basim's still just in the great category, but man, he could have been up there as well. Prudence, that's her name, Lawrence and Prudence. Yeah, I'll probably put Prudence on the same tier, like right next to Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, yeah. See, this is where people are gonna not like me. Bayek of Siwa is one of the best performances we've seen in gaming ever. Abu Bakr Salim's performance is great. The writing of Assassin's Creed Origins is not good. If you want it fully explained, I would heavily advise going to watch Alien Platypus's video on the topic. But Assassin's Creed Origins has so many holes in its writing that people kind of just forgive because the performance is well done. But he does create the Brotherhood technically. He does have an interesting character arc. He is beautifully performed. He is an absolute beast, and he's very good in his DLCs as well as in his little cameo in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I think Bayek is still top tier Assassin's Creed character. As much as Origins itself, I don't think is a well told story. Bayek is still phenomenal, and he still should have had a sequel. Oh, it's the dude from the counterfeit money mission. Yeah, mid. Benjamin Franklin again, mid. I mean, not on like a historical scale, but his appearances in Assassin's Creed 3 are pretty useless, and then his moments in Assassin's Creed Rogue are limited and not hugely interesting. Yeah, pretty forgettable, but I wouldn't say terrible. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I just googled which character is which between Ben Hornigold and Charles Vane, and I think just the fact that I had to Google that, even after playing Assassin's Creed 4 10 times, probably makes Ben Hornigold go in the mid category. I think a lot of Assassin's Creed Black Flag's characters individually are quite mid and like quite flat and one-dimensional, but then when you combine them all together, they create this fantastic story for Edward as he sees them all die. So I think as a group, they're made much better than they are individually, if that makes sense. Oh my god, it's my wife, Bishop. What a gal. What a gal. What a gal. I'm so glad she was included in Unity and Syndicate. She made those games so much better. Caterina Sforza is a very important character in the journey of Ezio Auditore. She is not just the woman who makes jokes about her vagina in Assassin's Creed 2, she also serves as a central point for which Ezio's journey in Assassin's Creed Revelations starts. Now, at the start of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, of course, Caterina and Ezio have sex. And this, it's later revealed to Ezio, is purely a political play so that the two can be allies going forward, which isn't uncommon throughout the course of history. However, this is a point in which Ezio truly believes that he is not capable of loving again after the death of Christina. This is a point where Ezio thinks his entire life is going to be completely committed to the Brotherhood and to his higher purpose, and that he is never going to be able to break out of that cycle to enjoy a quiet, peaceful life. In this way, she's very important. She's also very memorable from, you know, all her countless fantastic lines and that sex scene, which was very confusing when I was 10 years old. Yeah, Caterina's great.
You want my children? Take them! I have the instrument to make more!
Now, Cesare Borgia, in another world, in another universe, may have gone in the legendary category. He is a fantastic villain to Ezio because he is just pure villainy. At a point where Ezio almost becomes a Jesus Christ figure, leading a rebellion in Rome, the leader of the papal armies is an incestuous, insane dictator, is a fantastic opponent. However, although he's the best villain Ezio could have possibly come up against, if he was put in any other situation as a character, he would be very, very boring. I'm gonna put him in great, but he's only great within the context of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, if that makes sense. Yeah, Charles Darwin in Assassin's Creed Syndicate just pisses me off. Same with, what's his name? The writer. The writer. You know the writer. You know which writer I'm talking about. He's right there on the screen. Yeah, those cameos where they like flash up the names of these historical figures just piss me off. Oh my god. Charles Lee.
Give me Lee!
Where is Charles Lee? Charles Lee's memorable. And Charles Lee is mostly memorable because Connor just says his name like 450,000 times over the course of Assassin's Creed 3. I think he's a well fleshed out villain. I think that it makes sense historically to include Charles Lee in the context of the Templars. I think that his view on power and control and freedom is slightly less nuanced than like Hatham's, for example, but I think that serves a purpose because he has less nuance in his views, because he's more dogmatic and aggressive with the way he conducts himself. It then lends him to be more of a genuine villain as opposed to Hatham, who's kind of playing both sides. This is one of the guys from the Assassin's Creed 2 DLC in Forley. I don't remember which one's which. Yeah, these guys are fucking terrible. Christina, another person that Ezio has sex with, absolutely phenomenal, fantastic, mightily important for his character development. However, yeah, memorable. She has like 5 missions total. 6 missions total. Memorable. Oh, it's the little girl from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Syndicate and Mafia 3 for some reason share the exact same gameplay formula where you make 3 allies throughout the city and then like do weird liberation missions for them. Anyway, little girl, you get kids out of factories. It's Syndicate. Mid. No, terrible. Claudia Auditore, a character in Assassin's Creed 2 is left by the wayside, becomes a genuine, actual, like, real character in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood after she takes control of the biggest brothel in Roma and becomes a true assassin alongside her brother. Yeah, I mean, Claudia is very memorable. I don't know if I'd say she's great because she has such limited screen time and such limited opportunity to show herself, but her arc between the start of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and the end is very interesting. But she just has nothing to do in Assassin's Creed 2, and then Ezio writes to her in Assassin's Creed Revelations, but she's never really brought up. Clay Kazmarek, what a guy. Honestly, Clay Kazmarek, Subject 16, this mysterious figure that was spoken about throughout the course of every game leading up to Revelations, finally coming face to face with Desmond and having these in-depth discussions about the war that they're fighting, the assassins, the Templars, the entire concept of the Animus, the Isu, everything about it is so fascinating. And everything about his character just leaves you wanting more. Even by the end, when he says, "I'm saving you, you idiot," it can be broken down in so many different ways. And this is built up even more in the truth segments. Clay Kazmarek's fantastic. But I'm going to leave him in great for now, because I don't think he quite cracks this top spot. Cleopatra fucking annoys me. Yeah, it's a very good rendition of Cleopatra. Like, I think from a historical point of view, I think it's pretty accurate. Is she an interesting character? Yes, but only in so much as Cleopatra in real life was an interesting character. I don't know, I'd probably put her in mid. Connor Camway, what a guy. If I had only played the main story of Assassin's Creed 3, Connor Camway would be terrible. He has no character arc in the main story. He goes from naive young boy to naive grown man. However, in the Homestead missions, he develops into the strong leader of a community. He develops into this strong assassin figure that is implied at the end of Assassin's Creed 3, but isn't ever shown outside of side missions. Connor is great. However, in the main story of Assassin's Creed 3, that's so limited. Also, I always take into account the cut speech from Assassin's Creed 3, even though it was cut. So, yeah. Wow, we still have so many more characters to get through. I'm going to do a little speed round. Crawford Starrick, terrible. Mustache-twirling capitalist villain, terrible. Oh, it's that guy from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that gets annoyed at you, but then doesn't really care, and then you kill him. Sure, mid. Daniel Cross, interesting concept, goes crazy from the Animus, but I mean, kind of just isn't really seen very much. Mid. Altair's son. I don't remember which one it is. Yeah, he had 2. One of them died. What's the other one's name? Who knows? Fucking mid. Darius. Oh my god, Darius. Darius. Why was Darius included? Legacy of the First Blade is one of the worst DLCs, one of the worst pieces of Assassin's Creed content ever seen. Darius is going in Odyssey section. This guy from The Last Maharaja, yeah, terrible. Oh, the Doctor from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, what a random character, also terrible. This guy from the start of Assassin's Creed 3, terrible. Edward Kenway, one of the GOATs, one of the best character arcs we've ever seen written in Assassin's Creed. He's pretty much everyone's favorite or second favorite protagonist outside of Ezio. Yeah, Edward's top tier. Blackbeard, the most important supporting character in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, except maybe Mary Reed. He's a fascinating character that has a lot more layers than the stories may tell you. Yeah, Blackbeard's great. Flavius, one of the worst villains we've ever seen, a terrible reveal. This is why Origins sucks. This person from Valhalla. Germain from Assassin's Creed Unity, again, another underwhelming surprise villain. His reveal is uninteresting, his character arc is uninteresting, and he shouldn't have been in the game at all. Terrible. Federico, a very important character for Ezio, of course. He dies, he's hung. I mean, honestly, mid, like, yeah, Federico's important, but fucking this person. I mean, that's a Syndicate character. I don't know which one. Mirabeau, actually a very interesting and conflicting character. He presents the assassins at the height of the truce they have with the Templars. He's a diplomatic political figure. Yeah, I'd say very memorable. His death is also mightily important and should have been the climax of the game. Oh, the fucking leader of the Bonfire of the Vanities. What's his name? Yeah, memorable. He's memorable. He's a monk. He's a cool monk. He gets the Apple of Eden. He leads the Bonfire of the Vanities. One of the best speeches in the series. You know what it is. God damn, this really is a speed round. I maybe didn't take into account how many characters there were in Assassin's Creed. Eivor of Arryn's Now, Eivor could have been an interesting character if she had had a character arc that was a bit more extensive than just getting rid of Odin. Because the getting rid of Odin part made sense. However, following the end of the game, after Eivor gets rid of Odin from her mind, she still reverts to the idea of glory and control and power, which were the morals and values that Odin were kind of imposing on her that she got rid of. It's a weird little moment, and it comes as a result of Valhalla's terrible storytelling techniques. Yeah, I'd honestly put Eivor mid, alongside, I mean, male Eivor, but I assume this is implied to be Odin, also mid. Elise, of course, is the love interest from Assassin's Creed Unity, is the most important character in Arno's life, and she suffers a tragic death. Elise presents an interesting spin on the formula we've seen before, as she is a Templar, she's born into the Templar Order, and we see Arno ally himself with her. I think she presents some interesting questions about the differences between the Assassins and Templars. Yeah, I'd probably put Elise in memorable. This other guy from Unity's Assassin Council can go in terrible because, you know, what's his name? Henry Green, as much as I hate to say it, is an interesting, and maybe not interesting, but a memorable character from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Probably because of the fact that Assassin's Creed Syndicate has about 5 characters total in the game, and all of them are massive cliches. Honestly, I'd actually put Henry Green down in mid. I wouldn't put him any higher than Eivor, that's for sure. He doesn't really serve any genuine purpose in the story or for either of the characters, apart from Evie really randomly falling in love with him at the end.
Oh, what's this, Greenie? Assassin Christmas?
Okay, let's get some basic stuff out of the way first. Ezio Auditore is the best character in the history of gaming. Of course, he's getting put in the top tier. Desmond Miles as well is also being put in the top tier, although there was a lot more potential Desmond had and he could have done so much more. Those first 4 games really establish him as a strong protagonist for the series, and it's a real shame that they killed him off. There's a reason everyone wants him to come back. I mean, technically he did come back in Valhalla as the Reader, and that was a fantastic moment. Stupendous. Layla Hassan, on the other hand, is a bit more of an underwhelming character. Now, in Origins and Odyssey, Layla is one of the worst characters we've ever seen. However, in Valhalla, she does have a little bit more of an interesting arc, a little bit more passion, emotion, intrigue. So I'd probably put Layla as memorable, but yeah, no, not even close to where Desmond is. This random Valhalla NPC can go in terrible. Evie Fry is also very memorable. She isn't the most interesting character in the world. Again, the characters in Syndicate don't really have an arc. They kind of like force in a little bit of conflict between Evie and Jacob, but other than that, there's not a whole lot going on there. But yeah, I mean, Evie's one of the better assassins we've seen, and the performance from Victoria Atkin is phenomenal. So yeah, Evie's memorable. Odyssey, man, Juno is yet another character that should have been incredible. She became the main villain of the series after Assassin's Creed 3, really after Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, as she was released out into the world, into the grey, and there was this big cliffhanger as to what she was going to do when she came back in her fully fledged humanoid form. And then she did in a comic, and she was immediately killed off in the same comic. Yeah, Juno should have been great. She's very memorable, but a lot of those memories are for all the wrong reasons. Haytham Kenway, the son of Edward, the father of Connor, one of the best characters we've seen in the series, the most nuanced view on the conflict between assassins and Templars we've seen, some of the best dialogue we've seen, ultra charismatic to go along with that. Haytham is phenomenal, you can't argue with me on that. Oh, this is Freya from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yes, still terrible. Is that Thor? Who is that? Okay. Yeah, more Valhalla NPCs. Ivar from Valhalla, on the other hand, is fucking phenomenal. I love the scenes with Ivar. He's one of the most memorable characters in the entire game. It's accurate to the real-life description of Ivar Ragnarsson. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal character with an absolutely beautiful death scene, which is probably one of the best scenes in Valhalla, if not in the entire series. Yeah, Ivar's great. Connor's mother is mid. Connor's best friend is also mid. This guy from the Unity Assassin Council, terrible. This bitch from Assassin's Creed Rogue, mid. It's like the fakest love interest of all time. It's just as Shay kills her, it's like implied that there's a love interest there where there's just not. Another Valhalla NPC, Hytham from Valhalla, who also ends up just being an NPC because he has like 3 dialogue options in the entire game. That's a shame. Because Hytham could have been... No, to be fair, Hytham taught Eivor how to do the Leap of Faith, so he can go in mid. The guy from the Battle of Bunker Hill who gives the speech. Yeah, mid. Assassin's Creed Syndicate's representation of Jack the Ripper is one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's implied that he's a former assassin. Not good. Very bad. 0 out of 10. Now, once again, I've come across a character that I don't even recognize, so we're putting him in terrible too. People are going to be ripping me for this video. People are not going to be happy. I'm going to be like, who is that? Who is that? And people are going to be like, how do you not know who this random NPC is from that one game, from that one side mission? Oh, wait, no, I do know who that is. That's Jack. That he just doesn't look like, Jack Rackham. I take that back. Jack Rackham is... I'd put him in mid, but yeah, Jack Rackham's funny. That threw me off for a second. Jacob Fry, on the other hand, is not funny. Fucking annoys me. Terrible.
We'll call ourselves the Rooks.
That feels a bit weird. Jennifer Kenway, Edward's daughter, is also on this list. Yeah, she has a cool cutscene at the end of Black Flag, but like terrible. Like she's not even a character. John from IT, the second sage we see in Assassin's Creed, the main antagonist of the modern day of Black Flag. But if you're ever talking about the modern day of Black Flag, it's going to be mid, and so is John. More Odyssey. Caesar, kind of like Cleopatra, is just an accurate historical rendition of the same character. So I'll probably put him in mid as well. Jupiter is very fucking cool. He's a giant golden man, even though in Assassin's Creed Valhalla he's represented as a fucking frost giant. Yeah, Jupiter's a fucking sick character. However, he doesn't really have any character arc or anything like that. So I'll put him in memorable for now, because I mean, look at him. Like you're gonna everyone remembers that scene in Revelations. Oh, it's Karl Marx from classic Assassin's Creed Syndicate character Karl Marx. Yeah, I'll just put him alongside his friends there. Odyssey. Oh, fucking what's his name from Rogue? Yeah, terrible. Odyssey. La Volpe is another character in which I have to put my bias aside. I think La Volpe is one of the more interesting allies that Ezio comes across. He has a real interesting look in the underworld of what is a flourishing society in Renaissance Italy. So I'd say La Volpe is pretty memorable for that reason. Leonardo da Vinci, Ezio's best friend, on the other hand, is fucking phenomenal. There's never been a more accurate rendition of Leonardo da Vinci in any piece of media ever that I can think of. Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci, everyone loves Leonardo. If you don't hug Leonardo in Assassin's Creed 2, you're a bad person. He's responsible for the second best DLC in the entire franchise. And he has so many moments and scenes with Ezio that really tightens their bond and their friendship. Yeah, Leonardo is fucking phenomenal. I love him. I love him to death. Loki is terrible because the Assassin's Creed Valhalla mythological segments are terrible. Lorenzo de Medici is okay. He has interesting conversations. His scene in which he's almost killed at High Mass is pretty solid. But I'd probably put him mid. He doesn't really stick around for very long. No, I take that back. I'm going to put him in memorable, because I think even though he doesn't stick around for very long, his impact on Ezio and the stories he tells Ezio are enough to kind of put him there. Tiermaker.com is giving me ads, and I don't like it. Oh my god! It's Liam from Assassin's Creed Rogue. What a memorable character. Shay's best friend. He's Irish. That's the only character trait he has. Mid. Odyssey. Oh my god, this tier list is getting so long. Oh, Manuel Paleogas. Pagolo Midwell Paleolagos. Oh, this dude from fucking Origins. He might as well just be an Odyssey character. Lucrezia Borgia is a phenomenal femme fatale thrown into the Ezio trilogy. She's the sister and love interest of Cesare Borgia, which is just as weird as it sounds. And in the Da Vinci DLC, she also shows up fantastically. Yeah, Lucrezia is great. Governor Torres in Assassin's Creed Black Flag is kind of presented as the main antagonist, but never really serves any antagonistic function to Edward directly. There's never any clash of morals there greater than just either I want to kill you to make money, or I want to kill you because you are a Templar. Yeah, Governor Torres is one of the weaker villains we've seen in the series. The French dude from Rogue. Yeah, he's memorable because he's funny, but that's just because he's French, eh? Minerva, similarly to Juno and Jupiter, is very memorable because of her iconic appearance and her iconic scenes that come at the climax of her respective game. Yeah, so just below Juno. Just above Jupiter. The other guy from the Forley DLC can go in terrible. Lucy Thorne from Assassin's Creed Syndicate is presented as like the opposite of Evie. Mid. Malik from Assassin's Creed 1. One of the best characters we've seen in the entire franchise. One of the best character arcs we've seen in the entire franchise, as Altair and Malik throughout the entire game become closer and closer, become to understand one another. Malik sees and recognizes Altair's growth and his apologetic nature for what happened to his brother. Malik and Altair, what a bromance. Malik is the best side character in Assassin's Creed 1. Malik is up there, top 5. Holy shit, I've been recording for almost an hour. And there's still so many to go. Let's speedrun some more. Okay, Lydia Fry. Not a character, just has a little side mission. Maria. Shit in AC1, shit in AC2, great in Assassin's Creed Revelations. Memorable. Ezio's mum. Doesn't talk in AC2 until the end. Makes you collect 100 feathers. What a bitch. Mid. Ezio's dad. A very important figure at the start of Assassin's Creed 2, establishes Ezio's main motivations. Memorable. Lucy Stillman, an excellent character up until the end of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and then it's revealed that she was actually a Templar all along, which fucking sucked. However, her relationship with Desmond is absolutely excellent, her character arc is great, her death is a fantastic moment. Shout out to Kirsten Bell for just not agreeing to be in Revelations. Mario Auditore, the most influential figure in Ezio's life, a fantastic father figure who is flawed in himself. However, yeah, absolutely great.
It's a me, Mario!
Richard the Lion. He has a cool moment at the end of Assassin's Creed 1, however, his dialogue is really weirdly clunky and doesn't really make sense and contradicts itself. Honestly, mid. Odyssey. 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 Holy shit, how many can I get? Odyssey. 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 I think that's everyone. Oh, this hoe from AC Rogue, yeah, she can go terrible. Mary Reed is easily the best and most important figure in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Her reveal from being James Kidd to actually being Mary Reed is fantastic. Every mission she has with Edward is fantastic. You can see a genuine friendship and potential bond, and potential romantic bond between them. Yeah, fucking phenomenal. I'd honestly put Mary Reed alongside the likes of these other fantastic characters right at the top. If Mary Reed isn't in Black Flag is a worse game. This person from Abstergo Entertainment, yeah, terrible. The guy that kisses Jacob in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. His mission is very memorable. He is also a very interesting character. He kind of gives me like Mark Hamill Joker vibes. I'm gonna put him memorable because like he is, but I don't think he's a very good character. I don't know who the fuck this is. Cesare's personal hitman, mid, honestly. Just like, yeah, he's there, I guess. Napoleon Bonaparte, an interesting character that probably could have been fleshed out more, but he's pretty important in terms of Unity's story. I do think that it plays too much on his historical importance though, so I'll probably put him in mid as well. This fucking person from Syndicate is also there. Terrible. Niccolo Machiavelli, a very interesting character in Assassin's Creed, not too similar to his real life counterpart, but like similar enough that you can see the correlation, you can see the intrigue as to why he's included. Ezio's most trusted advisor is the core of basically the main story of all of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Yeah, Machiavelli's up there. Machiavelli's great. Odin is very memorable. I wouldn't say he's great. He's more a device for Eivor's character. The Grand Elder from Connor's Village is just mid. Oh, fucking Edwin from Valhalla, also mid. Sad Death, also mid. This guy. Why am I blanking on who this guy is? Terrible. Random Valhalla NPC. Petruchio, again, is just like there to die. I'm honestly gonna put Petruchio in terrible. Petruchio's not a good character. Belek is a phenomenal character that should have been the core antagonist of Assassin's Creed Unity. If you take Belek's betrayal and put it at the end of Assassin's Creed Unity, then that story becomes a lot more interesting, and the point it's trying to make actually makes sense. Yeah, Belek is great. Queen Victoria is in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I guess. Mid. How do we still have so many more? We still have so many more. This is nuts. Thomas Hickey. Mid.
Whereas I'm the type of guy who likes to have a beer in one hand and a tea in the other.
Sam Adams. Terrible. Oh, what's her name? Like Orla or something? Terrible. This Unity Assassin Council member. Terrible. Oh, fucking what's his name from Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Mid. Leon. A nice switch up in Assassin's Creed Unity. A new kind of ally for Arno to associate himself with. A small child that Arno becomes the protector of. Yeah, Leon's very memorable. Uberto Alberti is kind of just there to die. Mid. Tarek Barletti. Ezio's main fumble in Assassin's Creed Revelations, a man he never should have killed, a kind of a double agent and the leader of the Janissaries, is very important for Ezio's character in Assassin's Creed Revelations. I'd put him memorable. Randvi is memorable purely because you can cuck Sigurd out in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like you get to cuck your best friend in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is kind of wild if you think about it. So Randvi's memorable, but basically just because you can cuck your best friend. Rebecca Crane is the height of charisma in the modern day story. She's an excellently written character that serves her purpose perfectly. Memorable. The same can be said for Sean Hastings. He's the witty English know-it-all dickhead. He serves his purpose. He is a stereotype, but yeah, memorable. Robert de Sable, one of the main antagonists in Assassin's Creed 1, serves as a genuine force against Altair. I wouldn't say he's a great character though. He is memorable, but he's not like a great intrinsic deep three-dimensional character. Random Valhalla NPC. Slightly less random Valhalla NPC, but also not very memorable. Terrible. Oh look, another random Valhalla NPC. And just for good measure, here's another random Valhalla NPC. Oh, and here's Thor from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, mid. At one point in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you have a rap battle with Thor. What a weird game that is. Rodrigo Borgia is an excellent villain in Assassin's Creed 2, and an even more interesting character in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, as he kind of reflects on his own actions and goes against his ways. He sees a greater importance than pure power and greed. And he shows a genuine character arc that makes Ezio respect him despite being responsible for the death of Ezio's parents and his siblings. Rodrigo is absolutely great. I've said too many names, and now I'm blanking on other names. Shay Patrick Cormac is a massively underwhelming protagonist. Mid.
I make my own luck, Liam.
Sigurd from Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a fucking phenomenal side character. He's the most important person in Eivor's life. He's the most important ally, and he has these really interesting segments in which you're unsure of, you know, what's going on in his mind, what's driving him insane, what greater power he sees. Yeah, Sigurd, I would say, is great. Prince Suleiman is kind of the son figure for Ezio's father figure in Assassin's Creed Revelations. He provides, again, a new and modern and young perspective on these conflicts that keep going on, that kind of, again, persuade Ezio to step away from the conflicts. Yeah, Suleiman's very, very memorable. William Miles is a pretty excellent character in Assassin's Creed 3, however, he then pops up in Assassin's Creed Origins and, you know, just is played by someone else and isn't very interesting. I'd put him in memorable.
Does the name William Miles ring a bell?
Warren Vidic is a fascinating character in Assassin's Creed 1 that is then kind of just flatlined to generic antagonist. For some reason he becomes the main villain of the series, even though he's not the leader of Abstergo. He's just a scientist there. His dialogue in Assassin's Creed 1 is excellent, his aura in Assassin's Creed 2 is fantastic, and then he's just shot in the head, which is kind of shit, but you know, Warren Vidic is great. Sophia Sartor is a beautifully written love interest that is not only a love interest but also a fleshed out, well-developed human being in her own right, with interest and curiosity and a sparkle and a joy for the world and for other people that restores Ezio's faith in humanity. Sophia is excellent. She's perfectly written, she's perfectly incorporated into Assassin's Creed Revelations. She's never presented as weak or unable to kind of take care of herself, but simultaneously you understand why her and Ezio need each other. Phenomenally written love interest. She's absolutely top tier. Rosa in Assassin's Creed 2 is a fun character. She's an interesting thief. She kind of presents as another love interest option for Ezio. Unfortunately, her voice actor died between Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, so we never saw her again. Yeah, she's a relatively memorable character. Yusuf is an excellent side character that represents a younger Ezio in Assassin's Creed Revelations, this spry, energetic assassin, a leader that is genuinely respected, and a charismatic one at that. Yusuf is great. And finally, we have Stede Bonnet, one of the most iconic characters in Assassin's Creed history. If you know, you know. I don't have any other option but by putting Stede Bonnet at the very top of this list. And the rest of these characters are just kind of generic random people that I don't even know. So that is the list. Before we finish, let's quickly review. In our legendary category, we have Stede Bonnet, Ezio Auditore, Desmond Miles, Haytham Kenway, Malik, Leonardo da Vinci, Edward Kenway, Sophia Sartor, Al Mualim, Altair ibn Lahad, Bayek of Siwa, and Mary Reed. I think that's a pretty strong top tier for this list of, I think, over 100 characters. Of course, we have the worst category here, which goes without saying, and we've got a whole lot of Valhalla NPCs. But on a whole, I'm a big fan of this list, and I'm sure as this video has been going on, you have been commenting down below what you think of my choices and where you would put certain people. So let me know all of your opinions in that comment section. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like. If you're new here, hit subscribe with post notifications turned on. Make sure to check out my Patreon, it's very much appreciated. And with all that being said, I've been Joe, aka Founder Scarab, and I'll see you in the next one.
It is a good life we lead, brother.
At best, may it never change.
And may it never change us.